We're headed out on a 1,500-mile road trip in my 94-year-old car for a very special reason, and how this whole project and trip is being paid for is what makes it most special of all, but we'll get to that in a minute. For now, let's talk about the plan and what we've got going on here. We have purchased 4 off-road electric wheelchairs from the Not a Wheelchair Company, which is owned by Zack of the Jerry Rig Everything channel here on YouTube, out in Salt Lake City, and we are taking this car out to go pick them up and haul them back here. And then next month, we're loading them right back up and hauling them up to Canada to meet up with Bruce Cook, where we're donating these chairs to the Bruce Cook Foundation, where he's gonna use them to help other disabled people get back out into nature and enjoying the outdoors. So we're gonna get this thing loaded up. We're gonna head out to the east across Idaho. The plan is to head out to the Yankum Ropes factory in Burley, Idaho. We're gonna stay for the night, not in the factory, at the hotel next door. And then in the morning, we're gonna head down to the Salt Lake City area to the Not a Wheelchair factory, tour their brand new facility, meet with Zach, pick up the chairs, haul them back here, and get ready to go up to Canada for our big adventure with Bruce Cook. So enough talking, more driving, let's get going. And we're off. A little bit of nice green farmland here, and then lots and lots of desert. So we're gonna get real used to staring at this hood here for a bit. So we are crossing over the Snake River, which means we have made it to Idaho, and the car is doing great. Now to tell you the question a lot of you have, I'm sure, is how is all this being paid for? Because there's a lot of money being spent here, and that is the part that makes this so special. The money to buy these wheelchairs is coming from you, the viewers, and to be more specific, the patron viewers of this channel. You guys are the ones who paid for these wheelchairs, along with a generous donation from Grumpy. Now, most of the people watching this know about my Patreon account and how it's used very differently than the average, but for those that don't, let me explain real quick. You see, I have a Patreon account like just about every other YouTuber out there, but the way mine works, you don't get any extra exclusive content, videos that other viewers don't get, anything like that, and I don't get any extra money. What we do is we use it as a collecting plate where everybody pitches in every month, and we take that money and we use it to do good things for other people. We've repaired homeless veterans' RVs, we've helped stranded motorists, we've bought light towers and lit up a whole youth sports field so they can continue their practice even in the short days of winter. We've done a lot of good things with it, and I want to continue to do a lot more. Now, the goal is to do a project every month where whatever Patreon makes in a month, that is our budget to do something for someone or some organization the next month. Unfortunately, we're not quite to the whole once a month thing yet, because my ideas and the projects I want to do end up being quite a bit bigger than our Patreon budget currently is. So we have to skip a month, skip a couple months sometimes. That way we can build up enough money in that Patreon account to get close to it, and then it's still usually short, and then I just pitch in the rest to make it happen. On this particular project, we're quite a bit short. Grumpy, my neighbor who we all know and love, he made a good donation to it to help the purchase of the wheelchairs happen. So the purchase of these wheelchairs was all covered by you patrons and Grumpy pitching in. Now for this project, that covers the hard cost itself, which is the wheelchairs. Now that leaves the trip out to Utah to pick them up and the trip up to Canada to drop them off as just out-of-pocket expense for me, which is how it normally goes. All of the extra stuff to do the project, I cover myself and just do out of pocket. But luckily for me, I have an amazing sponsor I've been working with on this channel here recently, and that is the cybersecurity company Aura, and they are sponsoring this video to cover the cost of going to pick up these wheelchairs. And they are also sponsoring the video where we go up to Canada and drop these wheelchairs off with Bruce Cook and see what we're going to do with them. Now, before we get into the actual sponsor pitch for Aura, I just want to say why I love working with them so much and how different they are than your average sponsor. Now, the first time I worked with them, it was like most, where they reached out, asked if I would promote their product. We negotiated back and forth on a price, agreed, and we did it. But instead of just doing your average sponsor pitch and going on about the video, I took that sponsorship money they gave me and I used it to help someone who was really in a bind, and I explained that in the video. People really liked that, and Aura liked it even better. They were so happy with how I did that and what the actual goal is for this channel of helping others, that now they don't reach out and say, when can you promote our product again? They reach out and say, when are you going to help someone again, and how can we be involved? So when I told them about this wheelchair project and how it'd be really helpful if they wanted to sponsor one of the 2 trips, either out to Utah or up to Canada, they said they absolutely loved what I was doing with the whole thing, loved the idea of the project, and they want to sponsor both trips. So with that being said, have you ever Googled yourself and been absolutely horrified with the amount of information that's out there about you on the internet? Because let me tell you, it's a lot. Luckily, Aura can help with that, but first you got to understand how all that information gets out there. You see, it starts with websites collecting your information as you use the internet. And then data brokers buy that information and sell it to marketing companies, other websites, businesses, and anyone else who's interested so that they can better market products to you. But that means that people looking for information about you on the internet can find all kinds of stuff out there. Your full name, address, phone number, relatives, health records, places of employment, shopping habits. It's all out there on the internet being bought and sold by data brokers. Aura goes to all these data broker sites and submits requests for removal to get your information off of these sites. Oh, there's an ad for Aura right there. Let's click on it, see what we got here. How do data broker removal services work? 5 easy ways to protect your online privacy. Data broker takedown requests, exactly like I just said. Dark web scanning, that was the next thing I was going to say on my talking list here. And yes, I know it doesn't sound like it, but I do actually plan out what I'm going to say for these sponsor pitches and write myself out a talking list. I don't do a whole script, just like main points I need to hit and then go from there. But this is way better because it's all right here. As I was about to say before I was interrupted by the internet here, Aura scans the dark web for your information like your name, phone number, social security number, credit card information, things like that. Now, unfortunately, since it's the dark web and they don't have to play by the same rules as the real web, Aura can't delete that information off the dark web, but they can alert you about what's out there. And when I signed up for Aura many months ago, that's exactly what happened to me. A password for one of my accounts was found on the dark web. They alerted me about it. Luckily, it was an old account I don't use anymore, but I was able to go and change anything else that had that password tied to it before a problem happened. Which leads me right into their account monitoring service, which was where they watch for your passwords and login information and alert you right away if any of that stuff gets out there into the wilds of the internet. That's something that also happened to me in the big AT&T data breach that happened recently, and although we don't currently have AT&T, we did in a past life, and unfortunately, when you have an account with someone, they still have all your information long after you're gone. But luckily for me, we were notified by Aura long before we were notified by AT&T and before that whole data breach had even hit the news. Now, conveniently enough, if you look at all of AT&T's recommendations on what to do to protect your information that had been leaked out by them, all of their recommendations are services that are provided by Aura in an all-in-one package for one easy price, as seen in this beautiful overlay graphic I've put right here. Now, I'm someone who really values my privacy, and I'm sure you are as well, so if you want a 14-day free trial to Aura to see how much of your information is out there being sold on the internet, go to aura.com/Casey Liddell to get a 2-week free trial, no strings attached, and see what Aura can do for you. So I know I have gone way over the 60-second spot I'm required to do for this sponsored segment, but when a company like Aura is sponsoring my videos for the right reasons and helping me further my goal of this channel of helping others, I want to make sure they get their money's worth, especially when they have so much to offer, like VPN service, parental controls, password management, identity theft protection, and so much more. So I want you to click the link down in that description below, see what Aura can do for you, and I want to say thank you to Aura for going beyond just wanting to promote your products on YouTube and truly wanting to help support my goals of helping others. Now, back to the video.
And 8 hours later, we have made it. Alan is the only one still at work because it's well after hours. We're at Yankum Ropes factory here, and this is where we're gonna stay for the night. Not at the factory, at the hotel here in town, but we're gonna stop, see Alan, probably have some dinner because Alan likes to do that, check some stuff out, and then get some sleep in the morning. Salt Lake City. Oh, and by the way, the car did great.
And no problems.
We got 17.8 miles a gallon, not a one issue out of the car. Could not be happier.
No smoke,
Nope, I think we smoked it all out.
Yeah.
All right, let's go see Alan.
That is cool.
Surprisingly good after 8 hours in a 94-year-old car.
Oh man, that's way better in person.
Yeah, that's what I thought too when I went and saw it. After like Facebook Marketplace pictures. Hey, as far as you know, is this the oldest car to have a vehicle fairlead on it?
I think I can confirm that is the oldest car to have one of those on there. Absolutely.
And I think I also hold the record for pulling the oldest car with a Yankum Rope at 102 years old.
I thought you were going to say 102 miles an hour.
We could try it if you like.
So you're going to get everything to fit on here?
I hope.
This is awesome.
How do you take it,
Fantastic.
So it is the next day, and we have made it to the brand new, very large, not a wheelchair headquarters here. So let's go check out what they got going on. So it is the next day, and we have made it to Zack's place here, which is still very empty at the moment.
Yeah.
What'd you say your old warehouse was?
Our old warehouse is in Orem, and it's about 5,000 square feet, where this is 26,000 square feet.
And you're currently in the process of moving everything here.
Yeah, everything's coming here. And over the course of probably the next month, we'll be done by July 2024, since this video might be watched a year from now, who knows?
I always forget that.
Yeah.
I'm like, the one I just And then the people are all over the place on what videos where they'll watch something old and think it's new. And
If you're watching in 2025, we are in operation.
yeah. So they make off-road wheelchairs of all types, clearly.
Yeah.
This is top secret prototype.
Yeah. Unless you're watching in 2025 and then it's in full production. Let me show you what we have in those. We have these little kid rigs right here made mostly from bicycle parts. So a little kid who might have mobility issues can just jump in, and there's like a little thumb throttle that they can push. They can steer left and right. There's bike brakes on the front. And we have that same thing in an adult form factor as well. And it's just to help people get outside and explore on gravel or trails or grass, somewhere that their wheelchair would be difficult to go through, I guess.
So these are the two kid ones we got.
Yep.
And these are the two adult ones we got here. So these are all electric powered, suspension on them. What's the range on them?
So these ones, if you have 2 batteries, it's around 40 miles. And if you're just going in a straight line on a flat paved road, you can get like 50 or 60 miles.
That much.
So it's pretty intense.
That's out there, yeah. You're going to be able to go farther than the walking person who's coming with you.
Yep, and faster. So we've maxed these out at about 13 miles an hour. We could make it go faster, but we realized we have one that goes like, what, 40 miles an hour? 35?
Yeah.
It was very unsafe, so we dialed it back.
So the big thing, why are you doing this?
So I have a YouTube channel, right? So I've been making YouTube videos for
Oh,
like
I should
12
probably
years.
explain. This is Zack, who a lot of you probably know from the YouTube channel Jerry Rig Everything.
Yeah.
His name is not Jerry, by the way. I learned that back when I met him, what, a little over a year and a half ago?
Yep.
EcoFlow thing?
Yep.
Yeah, like, hey, you're not Jerry.
Yep, it's Zack.
Zack.
So I was minding my own business, making YouTube videos, and I met a girl who was in a wheelchair, and she was super cute. We dated for a year and got married. But I realized as we were dating that having a manual wheelchair, so she's paralyzed from the waist down. She was hurt in a horse riding accident when she was 18. I realized very early on that even pushing your wheelchair through grass is extremely difficult. And at that time, off-road wheelchairs were like $20,000, and you don't really spend that much
And now they're even more.
Yeah, maybe even more, and you don't spend that much on a date when you're dating somebody. So I welded 2 electric bikes together and put a seat in the middle and made my own off-road wheelchair for her for about $3,000. And then from that, we've modified the design quite a bit, made it more, easier to manufacture, and we've produced them at scale. We sold them in all 50 states except for like Rhode Island, but that doesn't really count as a state. We sold them in Canada.
I'll put the link below, or you can send the hate mail to Zack's channel.
They're in Alaska, Hawaii, so there is a huge need for this kind of thing. And we're here just we're not here to make money, we're just here to make them as inexpensively and as efficiently as possible and help people get outside.
And that was the other thing I want to bring up is you're selling these basically at cost.
Exactly.
Production cost. No profit for you.
No profit
You're not
for
taking
me.
anything out of this.
No.
It's as cheaply as you can get them to people to help them out.
Exactly.
And then you're even using sponsorships, brand partnerships to offset the cost. So
Yeah.
we got a better deal on these because some of your sponsors pitched in and took a good chunk off the price tag where it's below cost.
Yep.
Yeah, we got, I think, $1,000 off each of
Yeah.
these
Yeah.
from those sponsorships. So you put that sponsorship money to purchase costs.
Yeah, and so that was for these 2 machines. The kid rigs, though, is like a crazy story. So about a year ago, a guy reached out to me and he said, I would like to donate some Bitcoin to your business to lower the price of the kid rigs. Have I told you this story yet?
No. You
Okay.
told me that it was offset. I didn't get the
Yeah,
whole why. You said a private donor.
So he's an anonymous guy. I don't know who he is. He said, I want to donate some Bitcoin. And me thinking, all right, whatever, fine. Here's my Bitcoin wallet. I don't even know what Bitcoin really is, to be honest with you. Anyway, the next thing I know, I get this cha-ching from my phone, and this guy donates 2 Bitcoin, which might not seem like a lot, but that's $70,000.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's wild. So this, whatever Bitcoin is worth a lot of money. So I left that Bitcoin in my Bitcoin wallet. This might be a lot of words that don't make sense, but it has since increased in price so much that it's now like $120,000. And so it's just grown by itself in my Bitcoin wallet. And so now we're just using all of that money to lower the price of the kid rigs, 50% lower than it costs us to make it. So thanks to his super generous donation, we're just able to make these super cheap.
Which is why we were able to get 4 of them. The original plan was to do 1, and hope 1, and then get someone to help them out and all that. And then through the Patreon, I waited an extra month, and I was like, no, we might as well do 2. And then I waited, I think, another month to kind of build it up in there. And then you told me, hey, I got the promos on these $1,000 off, and then the discount on these from sponsors and donations, which made it we're able to do almost 4. That almost covered 4. Grumpy covered and chipped in the rest, where these are all covered. And my neighbor pitched in the rest to make it where all these purchases were covered, and then we were able to do 4, which I never thought we'd be able to do in the beginning. But
yeah, and it's super fun. Just like us kind of like taking the initial step, there's been so many people that have come out of the woodwork to help us achieve our goal, which is why we have a space this big and why we're expanding and moving into it. Because like going off-road is fun, but it's also like, it's not necessary to live. Having a manual wheelchair is necessary to live. And right now here in the United States, where healthcare is like super weird, a manual wheelchair,
to say the least, as someone who spent my life in the healthcare system.
Right. Yeah. A manual wheelchair like the one my wife uses costs $5,000, and most people don't have that kind of money just sitting around, especially if they're in a wheelchair. They definitely don't have that money sitting around normally. And so we're building out this facility to mass manufacture manual wheelchairs at 80% cheaper than anyone else in days instead of months. So
you're going to be on the electrics and going to doing standard manual wheelchairs too.
Yeah.
And now I'm going to steal this camera from David and make you stand over there, because the other day when we were on the trip to go up with Grumpy to get that car, he asked you what your goal was and what you want to do in the future.
Yeah.
That just fit in 100% with what you just said.
So I'm in college. I'm at Pacific University, and I'm majoring in kinesiology. I don't know if you know what that is.
I don't.
It's the study of the movement of the human body. It goes into like physical therapy later, but I'm minoring in disability studies, and I want to have a PT clinic or athletic training clinic or something of the sorts to help people with disabilities be able to work out when a lot of them don't have the time or money for that when they are in the hospital all the time with like different bills and stuff. So yeah, I want to help them out in the future.
That's cool.
Being able to, if they have an injury, recover from it, or if they just want to get stronger, be able to work out.
That's great.
Yeah.
Yeah. And being surrounded by people who have similar goals is amazing.
100%. Yeah, he shared that when he was talking about Grumpy when we were on the drive up to Washington recently, and I thought that fits in perfect. It's surrounding yourself with the type of people who want to do more of this type of stuff. Your guys' reason for creating this whole thing is exactly my reason for creating the Patreon, and the companies I've been able to use to help out with that to pull this off are the ones I want to keep working with.
That's great. I'm super happy about
So
it.
thank you for doing what you guys are doing. Thanks to David for the goals he has. All of the Patreon supporters for making this whole thing possible.
Seriously.
Yeah.
Should we do a little tour, a little walkthrough?
Yeah,
or?
let's do it.
Okay, cool. So the thing we just got installed barely today is an air compressor system, and everything in here is running at 480 volts. It's been actually pretty difficult to find a facility that has the amount of electricity we need. So we have 2 air compressors, just kind of like a redundant system. So this is the main big boy that pressurizes this tank and then pressurizes all of the blue lines running around through the ceiling.
Is this 2.5?
It's, I think so, yeah.
That's a lot of air.
Yeah, it's a lot of air.
Okay, Mr. Smart Guy, you have this giant storage tank. You have 1.5-inch tubing, which is in itself a storage tank. How many gallons of pressurized air storage do you have throughout the building in addition to your tank?
That's a question for one of my engineers. Let's see if Tanner knows the answer to that question.
Because I bet it's more there than you have in that tank there.
That's a good question for him. I would bet $1 he knows the answer to that question. As we're passing this though, so this is a Laguna laser. It's a tube laser that we're going to use to take, just a stick of aluminum tube, put it in the laser, and it'll slice out like the exact dimensions of every part we need for the wheelchair.
And that's going to do the notching. The notching in the end while it feeds it through.
Yep, and it'll put little holes where we put the seat sling into. Just having a laser, you can seriously cut a tube out within like 30 seconds. So it moves so fast. So expensive, but so fast. Tanner, we have a question for you on the spot.
Okay.
I bet him $1 that you would know the answer, so be quick.
Let's see.
You have an air compressor over there with a big storage tank. How many gallons is that storage tank?
660 gallons.
660 gallons.
Yes.
Now you have 1.5-inch airline going all over the place, right?
2-inch.
2-inch, so even bigger.
All right.
2-inch.
So
2-inch everywhere for the main line, inch on the sublines.
So how many gallons of pressurized air storage do you have in your air system, and is it more than that tank holds?
That's a good question. I think it's actually less. I don't know the exact number though. We have a 660-gallon tank. We have a 440-gallon tank.
Oh, that's cheating. I didn't know about the other one.
Yep, we have a 440-gallon tank as well. So we have that with a 2-inch line. If you looked at the volume, I think we're probably close to about 300 gallons with the 2-inch line.
That's stored in the line.
Stored in the line.
That's a significant amount
It's
of
a
air
significant amount of air.
just in the lines.
Yeah. Yep.
But everything we do requires air, especially like the sandblasting and the powder coating. Like
So you're going to do everything to finished product out the door in this building.
Yeah, metal tubes come in, wheelchairs leave.
And nothing outsourced.
There's a few
Well, I
parts,
mean, like
the casters and things.
Parts, yeah, but I mean, like as far as in the production process, it's not like it goes over there for powder coat and then comes back to get finished.
Where it makes sense, do it here. Yep.
Cool. Thanks.
Yeah, you bet.
All right, so after the laser
I feel
cutting,
like we are 50 cents each on that one.
yeah, we'll call it. So after laser cutting, this can do giant sheets of like 1/2-inch aluminum plate as well, so it's a super powerful laser. And then this one is our mandrel bender. It is able, so it has like a left-right head on it, so it can bend both directions, which was mandatory for us because there's so many complex shapes inside of a wheelchair frame. Like if you imagine a wheelchair, sometimes it comes down around the knees and then tapers in near the feet, but it can also taper in near the seat. So there's a lot of like...
So it's not just a 90-degree bend, it's a compound bend.
There's multiple bends on every tube, which is crazy.
In different directions.
Exactly. So this CNC bender is able to accomplish that. It's a rotary draw bender, where there's a die and it pulls out the
It's
tube
not
through
sitting
the die.
stationary bending the tube, it's feeding the tube through around the radius so the tube bends as it's coming out.
Correct.
Instead of sitting in one spot, bending it, moving it, bending, it's feeding out and bending at the same time.
Yeah. And now that we got our air installed today, the electrical is also installed, and so we'll start training on this probably tomorrow. But if you're watching in a year from now, this is already running.
In 2025.
Yeah. All right. So after it gets bent, this is where all the welding is going to be, because all of the aluminum needs to be tigged together into the general shape of a wheelchair. Goes over to powder coating, which we haven't set up yet. We have all the machines ready, like all these boxes and stuff over there. We just have to take those and assemble them. Then we have like another air tank. We have CNC machines to do like the camber tubes. So when the wheelchair wheel goes on the side of the wheelchair, it's actually kinked a little bit for stability. So the base is wider than it is up at the top, and that way the wheelchairs won't tip over. But that 2 degrees of camber is a fairly complex piece of metal inside of the axle tube. It's a lot of engineering going on.
Because you have to still have the axle, bearings, spindle, all that at that angle.
And so we could have the axle tube be like bent up at the edges to compensate for that camber. But in our particular design, for the design we have now, the axle tube is straight, and we do the camber inside of the tube with the milled piece.
So it's like a mill insert that kicks everything at the angle.
Exactly.
And that'll all be done
right here. Yeah. We have the Tormach CNC. It's an 1100 MX. We also have another Tormach that does like round pieces of metal, and that's also very helpful for us. But yeah, soon, within probably 2 months, this will all be up and running, which will be really fun.
One day, when we come back here in 2025, apparently.
Yeah.
I want to walk through again, get the same shots of the same things, and then put it like before and after with this footage of like this empty spot, and you say like, and this will be where the welding is, and then boom, all the welding set up there, and like that's a future video.
Yeah. Like I've been to other manufacturing facilities, like I've been to Ford's factory where they make the Ford Lightnings. I've seen how the Tesla factories work, and like Rivian Service Center, and they have a lot of their engineers just kind of next to the manufacturing. And so I think that's pretty much how we're going to do it here as well. Like if you're putting the engineers and the manufacturing workers in the same spot, you're just more efficient.
When we were in Vegas at CES, we were talking with EcoFlow there. I was talking with them. They said that's how it is at their place. The engineers room goes right out to manufacturing.
Yeah.
That way, if they have a problem out here, the people who are assembling it and building it and putting it all together and making it can just go right to the door and go, hey, this doesn't work, or what do I do here?
Yeah, redo it.
And they're right there. And so they don't want them in another part of the building, in another building like that. They want, if there's an issue, if there's a problem, they're like, walk in and say, what did you think was going to happen here? So I think that actually makes a lot of sense.
No way, you drove that thing all the way here?
Yeah.
You are crazy. What the heck? How fast does it go?
We were cruising 80 down the highway on the way here.
That is wild. What's the noise inside of it like?
Lots of wind noise.
I bet.
Lots of, because like in 1930, going 80 miles an hour wasn't a thing, so they weren't built to be like quiet on the wind noise. So
you got the roof rack on there too? That's hilarious.
Yeah. Yeah, so it's got a lot of wind noise.
That's wild.
Yeah, check out it's all modern inside.
I'm very impressed. That's sick.
Hop
No
in.
way.
See how like there's so much room in there?
It's like a bench seat. Now we're talking.
Got air conditioning and everything. All the dash gauges work.
You're crazy. I saw Instagram the other day where someone took that. Oh, it's actually this. He took this carpet because this carpet's so inexpensive, and he laid it like on the underside.
Yeah, I don't know where they got that carpet.
I mean, that's great for grandma.
Well, I asked
But
him.
it's
I'm like,
if you could switch it, that'd be sick.
yeah, I asked him like, what made you choose that carpet? And he goes, because it was the most old lady thing we could find.
Yeah, that's what I said
I'm
for
like,
grandma. There we go.
It is. And then someone else asked me what casino I sold that carpet out of.
Yeah. Tires look great.
Yeah, it's 4-wheel drive. It's got Jeep axles in it, so it's full function 4-wheel drive. Like, we're taking this out to the dunes tomorrow.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
It's got, what, 3 seats back there?
Yeah. 3 seats in the back. It actually has room.
Seen if you had an EcoFlow in
I
there.
do.
You do? There it is.
Yeah, EcoFlow is running my fridge
Shout out to
and charging
EcoFlow.
all my camera gear right there.
Yeah, they're one of my main sponsors too, so shout out to them.
Well, that's how we met, was at their event.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like them a lot.
Yeah, they're super good to work with. They're like, hey, remember when I said I don't need shipping?
Yeah.
David, we might be riding with a spare tire in the cab on the way home.
I don't know, it's gonna be joking. It's gonna be really cool. Yeah, if you get some shots of this, I'll post it to Instagram.
Yeah. If we move that stuff, we might be able to get it.
We might have to.
It's so close though.
Or will these fit sideways? I turned that long end out.
Side to side?
No,
Oh, I
just
don't
not
know.
enough.
I don't think so. We gotta move the box.
Yeah, we'll move this.
It's a bit weighted, so.
Well, because the tire can go underneath. And this, we can stuff in the back seat. Or on the
That
roof
you
rack.
could even.
You could do
Fit
the
it.
two.
We could tie one on the roof.
I was gonna say you could do the two. You could probably do the two over the top of this, like set them on, like put the wheels on the front of that or something like that. The two small ones.
Or,
think they
no, it would look so much more ridiculous if we put this one sideways right here, and we put that one on the roof.
It's up to you. That's a long drive.
Whatever you want.
It's up to you.
I got plenty of straps.
All right.
They didn't put a roof rack on there not to use it.
If we did. All right, I have an idea. Because there's like this room right here that's usable. If we shifted everything down and put one right here, a tiny one here,
The smaller one will fit up here.
two big ones, and then a small one, then I think they would all fit
That's thinking.
lengthwise.
They're lighter than I thought they'd be too.
That's our goal. We try to make it as light as possible.
I'm gonna grab the back side of that.
And they have a solid rear axle. There we go.
Look at you, smart guy.
Using all of our details.
So we have to go red, blue, red, blue.
Perfect.
And then the tire will fit under no problem. Oh, the toolbox can fit too. This will all fit. It'll work. And then I got lots of straps. thank you again for doing what you're doing with this whole thing, and thank you to every single one of both of our viewers, because you guys are who's put us in the positions we're in to do this stuff. And
Yeah.
I'm sure you feel the same. It is appreciated more than you know,
Yeah.
and we're thrilled to be able to take what we're getting out of this and do stuff like this. So thank you.
Every view matters, because like that's literally what makes all this possible.
Exactly.
So,
Yeah.
thank you, and thank you.